Let's continue working on our schema files, and in this lesson we're going to finish the antelope tables schema file. I have already prepared some of the columns because we already know how to create varchar, integers, columns, and in this lesson we're going to add the indexes and behaviors to this table. Okay, so let's take a look at it. As you can see from this table, we still need to define the foreign keys, location ID, and type ID. Let's see how we can do it with Propel. Well, we can use the tag foreign key. Then we define the foreign table that we're going to be pointing to, and in this case it's going to be the pyz underscore antelope underscore location. Then we can give this index a name. Let's prefix it with our table name, pyz underscore table. Then we can add a dash, fk for a foreign key, and then underscore the other table. In this case, antelope location. Inside the foreign key tag, we can define the reference with the tag reference. Local would be the local column. In this case, it would be location ID. Then the foreign column. In this case, the foreign column would be ID antelope location. And we're going to do the same thing for the column type ID. So we define also a foreign key for that column. The table would be antelope type. Then the index name, we just rename it here as antelope type. The local column would be type ID, and then it's going to reference ID antelope type. We can also add, create it at, and update it at manually, but we have one thing that is called behavior in Propel, and it means that every time we're going to insert a record, Propel, in this case on Spryker side, can add these columns for us, and we don't have to do it manually. This is done directly in the code every time we insert a record, update a record. We could also add a behavior for creating a UUID, but in this case we're going to just create the behavior for these two columns. A behavior is just a tag here that we indicate the name of the behavior, and the behavior would be a Propel piece of code to update these columns for us and create also these columns with the migration. So we're going to give it a name, and the name is time stampable. So behavior's name begin with the name of the behavior, and then we add the able postfix. With this line of code, we're going to be able to have those two columns and also the code in the generated class that is going to update those columns when we insert or update a record. Another thing that we can add is the event behavior. What this behavior does is to fire an event every time we insert, update, or delete a record. In this case, we can listen to that event name, and then we can react and execute a piece of code whenever one of these events for deletion, updating, or creating a record happens. So this is the name of the event. After we execute this migration and we're going to have the table and the class, we're going to take a look at the class and see what this event behavior does and what timestampable does. So we've already defined the foreign keys. We have already defined these two behaviors, and these two behaviors, timestampable and event, we can add it also for the other tables. So let's open Antelope's location schema file, and let's add also these two behaviors, and we're gonna do the same thing for antelope type. Let's execute the code by executing docker SDK console if we are in the computer's console. If we are in the CLI, we only have to type console, okay? So docker SDK console, and then propel : install. Finger crossed, everything should work. Perfect. You can see that the migration was executed, and now if we refresh our database, we should see the new table, pyz antelope. You can see here the columns, name, color, age, gender. You can see also the created at and updated at columns. And foreign keys, you can see the two foreign keys here for the PYZ antelope table. And if we take a look at location, you can see that we also have the created at and updated at columns. As for antelope type, we also have the created at table and updated at columns in this case. Let's take a look at the generated class for PYZ antelope. And remember that we can open and find that class inside the folder srcorm, then Z, and then the name of the module. In this case, the name of the module is antelope, and inside persistence base, we see the base class, in this case, PYZ antelope. Let's open this class and let's search for timestampable. Okay, you can see here that a piece of code was added to this class, and whenever the record is modified, then you can see the setup updated at. If we open this method, you can see that the column updated at is going to be added to the modified columns with the format of this date, year, month, day, hour, second, etc. The same is going to be executed for created at. Now let's look for the behavior event, and you can see here that we have event behavior in the case of delete method, and also for save method we're going to have also this behavior added. And you can see here that we have this method add delete event to memory. Here the payload is going to be created with the name of the table, the ID of the record, then the name of the event, and you can see here the naming convention, entity dot table name dot the action. In this case, the action was delete. So we can listen to this event and then react to this event. If we search add create, or if we search for the save method, you can see the method here, add save event to memory. The same thing is going to happen. We're going to have the antelope create event. You can see here the payload. It is almost the same, name, the ID, and the only thing that changes is the event name that is fired. So now we're ready to go on working on the persistence layer in order to prepare our code to insert, delete, update records, and read records from our tables.